class. So we would be moving on to the next topic, which is commodity exchange. Alright, commodity exchange. So we covered what is a commodity, all the different aspects to it, what is a commodity market, how does it function, and finally we have come to commodity exchange. So here we would be learning about what is a commodity exchange. We would be learning about a few important exchanges as well. Then we learn about the governing body, which is the FMC, or the Forward Markets Commission, and the members, the eligibility, and all of that. Okay, so let's move on. So just like how stock exchange is a association which helps you in buying and selling of securities, yeah, either through an exchange or through OTC, we call it as a stock exchange. All right, so a place where you trade, buy and sell securities like shares, bonds, and debentures and all that. Now, a place where you buy and sell or you trade in commodities, we call it by the name commodity exchange. So commodity exchange is any association or a company or any other body corporate which organizes futures trading, that is the standardized exchange traded contracts. We call it as futures trading, which was discussed earlier. So we trade only the futures in exchange commodity exchanges in commodities for which license has been granted by the regulatory authority. So what do we understand from this? Any form of exchange traded contracts, which is also known as futures contract, is traded in this place, and in order to conduct this trade, they need to get the license from the regulatory authority, and the regulatory authority is called FMC. All right, so a place where commodities and commodity derivative products are traded. What are the different features? So we have demat account. The first one says like how we trade in stock as well. Any person who wishes to trade in a commodity exchange should open a demat account with NSDL. Okay, that is National Security Depository Limited. Only then he'll be able to trade. Second one says margin requirement. Like when you go to rent a house, you give them a security deposit, right? You give a security deposit which might be equal to 2 months rent or 3 months rent. Yes, so, and which you will get only after you complete the rental period, which is usually 11 months. So here again, the investor places a security deposit with the exchange called as margin. All right, compared to equities, even equities we do keep a margin. Compared to that, it is of a lesser value. It's normally out of the entire contract value, entire price amount for which the contract has to be executed. It normally comprises only around 5 to 10% of the contract value can be called as margin requirement. It is a lesser margin compared to the rest. Then the agreement. Agreement, it's just like how you open an account. So when you go to a bank and you try to open an account, they attach a form called KYC. What is KYC? Know your client or know your customer form. What does this form do? This form is maintained so that the bank gets to know almost all your personal details, most of them, your basic information, and who all are dependent on you, who all are not dependent on you, everything about your family members, all those is taken by giving you a form called KYC. So here also KYC has to be completed. All right, circuit filters. Now suppose I am fixing a range for wheat, the commodity called, one second, yeah, a commodity like wheat, and I fix a price of 50 to 100. Just an example, it's not the actual amount, rupees 50 to rupees 100. All right, so when this is the case, what do? I generally, as an investor, I feel okay, I can trade between 50 to 100. I'll find a price somewhere in between or something like that. But when this price falls beyond 50, that is 40 or 30, and when the price goes beyond 100, like 120 or 200, that is where the commodity exchange will step in, and a set of people or a set of team called as circuit filters or circuit breakers will come and cancel out the transaction. This is sometimes a result of fraudulent activities, sometimes a result of unhealthy speculation. So in order to check that the prices don't go beyond the limit, the lower or the upper limit, we have circuit filters or circuit breakers who would see to it that the transaction is declared void. There's no more transaction. Then brokerage and transaction charges compared to shares. When you go for issue of shares, the fees or commission which you pay to the broker in the form of brokerage or transaction charges are relatively less in the commodity market than the stock market. All right, it is mostly some 0.1 to maybe 0.50. That's it. Okay. And the commodities for trading. So most of the exchanges which we learn about, the be it your national commodity exchanges like your NMC, NCDEX or NCX, all of them have a provision to trade in almost every commodity. Most of them, that is at least a 99% trades in almost all the agricultural commodities, but there are some which are specific to energy commodities, metal commodities, livestock. All right, so most of the exchanges do support trading for almost all the commodities, especially in India. All right, delivery of commodities. So when you finally execute the trade, say I get into an agreement wherein the trade is getting executed on 25th of May next, that is next month. All right, 25th of May 2020. So what happens is during the delivery time, that is when I am almost trying to execute the contract, at that time the brokerage charges might increase. See, you place your order, broker steps in. You complete your order, and on successful completion, you also have to give an extra commission to your broker. So that would increase by around 20 to 25%. So that is another feature. Commodity Market Regulator, like I mentioned, is the FMC or the Forward Markets Commission. The next slide we would learn more about this. Then that is almost like how SEBI is a watchdog for stock market. In the same way, FMC is almost like the watchdog for commodity market. Information on commodity market. So when you take the newspaper, it depends on the newspaper which you use. If it was Times of India, I guess somewhere behind near that business column and also in the front, I'm not sure, it gives the prices on your gold, silver, rice, oil and everything. So what here it means to say is you are able to ascertain what is the commodity price, okay, either on the internet, on the media, or print media such as newspapers and periodical. So you get to have complete access to the market information. You can understand what is the demand. You have certain articles which talk about the demand for certain commodities, whether the demand is going down, up and all that. We do get affected when we see the petrol hike and all that, as a result of which we sometimes go for strike. So the response of the information to the information is there, but what we have to clearly emphasize on is that market information is adequately available to all the people regarding the commodity market in the form of newspapers, TV, internet, periodicals, any of those, right? Okay, effect on default. Now on the day, see, a futures contract, which is the one that is traded in the exchange, is always standardized, which means both the parties will have to execute the contract. Yes, if it was a forward contract, it was on the terms and conditions of the buyer and seller. Okay, they may choose not to do the contract, it's okay for them. But when a commodity exchange is involved, it is very much necessary that the contract has to be executed on that particular day. Failure or any other fraudulent activity, failure to execute the contract or any other fraudulent activity, the exchange is has the power to, you know, make someone pay the penalty. The whoever did the fraudulent activity or whoever, you know, kind of spoiled up the contract, they have to pay up the penalty. The commodity exchange has all the right to impose a fine on them. Is it clear to you? All right. Now, this is the basic organization structure. It comes under the purview of the Government of India, especially under the Ministry of Finance, which had appointed by by using the FCRA Act of 1952, had set up the Forward Market Commission. Now, under which the commodity exchanges also come in place, which can be divided into two: national stock exchanges, national commodity exchange, and regional exchanges. Under national, you have NCX, NCDX, NMC, and ICX. Now, under regional, you have other 21 to 24 type of regional exchanges. So let's move on. The governing body. Okay, you might not be able to see few things behind this video block, but I'll share it with you. So it's just few words. So it's okay. So this is the governing body of the stock of the commodity market. Governing body, or what do I say, the regulators. Okay, so this is the regulatory authority for commodity futures. To set up in 1953, it is a statutory organization, which means to say this organization was established because of some particular act or some particular legislation, and the legislation is called as, or the law is called as, the Forward Contracts Regulation Act of 1952. All right, it has got 4 members. Yeah, one of them is the chairman, and it's headquartered in Mumbai, but you have got a regional office in Kolkata. Now, there are 3 divisions which comprise FMC. The first one is commodity division. This is a department which prepares all the analytical reports. It considers the forces like demand, supply. Okay, it ascertains the price. For example, in the agricultural commodity, it also states why is there a fall in the price, maybe because there was no rainfall or some drought issues and all that. So the analytical reports are prepared by the commodity division, which includes the demand supply information and also what is the price of any commodity which is traded. Enforcement division is like your law and enforcement, like how the police works. They do close surveillance or close observation of the commodity market. They try to see whether there are any fraudulent activities happening. All right, they also give training to the police people and various other authorities on how exactly to do to detect fraud in commodity market. Is it clear to you? Yes. The reason why they are involving other sources as well is because commodity market is both there in the futures market, which is there in the exchange, and also in the physical market, which is there outside your vegetable market or anything of that sort. So it is very easy that the local authorities also pitch in order to find out what are the fraudulent activity. We have got a black market which exists even for commodities, right? So those are the different things which has to be taken care of and almost eliminated. So this thing has to be properly done by the enforcement division. They can take the help of police officers and various other authorities. Then administration division, it deals with the staffing of the commission, like who all should work for the commission, what should be the payroll for them, where do they set up the office. The administration of the office is taken care of by the administration division. All right, so behind the thing, it is given as staffing of people in the commission. And enforcement division, it says close surveillance of illegal activity. When I share the slide, you might be able to relate to it. Now, what are the different functions of FMC? So there are huge sentence given here. You can read through them, but I'll tell you what does it mean. The first one says that FMC has the authority to grant recognition to any exchange or to withdraw the recognition. So if they find that one of the commodity exchange is doing fraudulent activity, it can take back the recognition. Then and it keeps all the forward markets, whatever is there under the sun, all the forward markets, all the commodity markets under its observation, and they try to analyze if there is any, they try to identify if there are any fraudulent activities. If they are there, they take the necessary action. Now it also collects, like I told you, you find the information related to each commodity in your newspapers, periodicals, internet, so and everywhere else. So it collects and publishes this information regarding the demand, supply and price condition of different commodities, and also it submits reports, periodical reports to the government of India. Okay, on anything, maybe a yearly report or a monthly report, it is based on them. Then it makes recommendations. So it can be treated as an advisory body also, which can help the government and other authorities in making maybe a new rule for the commodity market, right? So many of the existing rules do get changed either through amendments or something like that. But FMC can also act as an advisor because they are directly dealing in the commodity market. They are observing it, they are in close contact with it. So they are the best people to know what exactly is wrong, maybe wrong in the commodity market, and they try to advise the government or the other authorities in making a new legislation or to improvise the commodity market. Then they can inspect any books of account of any recognized or registered association. Okay, one thing which I left out is the brokers in the commodity exchange need not register with FMC. But in the stock market, the brokers had to register with SEBI. Here, they need not register with FMC, but FMC has a control over them. You get the point? Okay, so here it says you have the right to inspect the books of any of the registered or unregistered or recognized or unrecognized associations. All right. Now, what are the powers of FMC? We would end with this. This says that you can call anyone to appear in front of the inquiry board of FMC. You can call anyone, as in you can examine any person. You can make him swear, like how you see in the movies where they, like in the court and all that, where they have to swear by the book, saying that whatever they speak is the truth, right? The FMC can also conduct these mini court and ask them to swear their oath. Okay, and that is there. Second one is they can ask for any of the document of any commodity exchange or any other institution to be submitted with them. So they can ask where is the document, that is the discovery of the document, and also ask them to produce it in front of them. All right. Then receive evidence on affidavits. Okay. So if there are contracts, a legal contract between one or two parties, all right, FMC can also step in and ask them submit a copy of the affidavit. So if two people are saying that, okay, we had planned to execute the contract on 25th of May. They prepare a legal document. We call it as affidavit. We use affidavit for a number of cases, right? You might have used it, for some purpose or the other. Your parents must have obviously used it for your rental agreement, for your domicile status, everything. So when I file an affidavit in order to legalize my contract, the FMC can also ask for the evidence of affidavit. If I am the aggrieved party, if some sort of what do I say? I'm the one who is harmed because of the contract. Maybe it's not getting executed or there's some fraudulent activity, whatever. So the FMC can ask me to submit a copy of the affidavit which legalizes that contract. Okay, and any public record from any of the office can be asked from anyone by the FMC. So these are the powers of FMC. So what all did we learn today? We learned what is a commodity exchange. We learned the functions. Yes, no. We learned about the organization structure, the features. We learned what is FMC, what are the powers of FMC, and what is the basic functions of FMC. So this is done for today. So we would take up from next Monday, we would complete the remaining tiny portions of commodity exchange, and on the following Tuesday is what we are looking for, completing just 2 or 3 slides regarding different transactions like physical transactions and all that. So till now, whatever is being done, because once we complete that, the chapter is done, right? And we don't know like when exactly can we get back to the real class. We are not sure. Maybe we would turn up next week, but Not sure. So you guys have to go through everything. Don't think it's a huge task and all. Do it. If you have any question, let me know. Okay, I'm preparing the notes as well. Those would be shared with you too. Okay, MCQs will be posted. Attempt all the MCQs. Clear? In this hour itself, or you can do it by 12 o'clock. All right. So thank you.